Welcome to the People Chronicles. I'm Jackie Hoffman, and today we are joined by Mary Ellen Mahan.
Hi, Jackie.
Get that right?
It's close enough. Mahan.
Mahan. All right. And we are here on a weekly basis to teach our community a little bit about the different people that do things in our community that have a word to tell other people and that they can learn by. So what we want to know from you is what people will learn from your story today.
Well, I guess since for those of you that are watching this, it's that there's only half of what there used to be of me. For those of you that are listening, it's that I have been on a personal transformational journey for the last 20 months. And as I just indicated, there's a lot less of me right now than there used to be. There's also a very different me sitting here than there used to be. And it's because I basically decided that I was going to change my life, change the way that I think, and as a result, I'm a very different person than I was 20 months ago.
That's the end of the story, the end of the podcast, but the beginning is where we need to start and find out exactly how you got to where you are, because a lot of people struggle with, a daily fact of how am I going to get through another day of counting calories or getting to the gym or finding the energy to do what it is to make me feel healthy, to look good, to lose weight. And just talking to you briefly for 10 minutes, I learned so much from you. And I think it's, our duty to let everyone know how you started and why.
Well, I think that people start diets for lots of different reasons. I'd like to think that what I started was not a diet, but I started changing my entire life. I actually was at a point where I had retired from my job after 31 years, took a new job, and I was trying to climb the corporate ladder. And all I was focused on was performing well at work, trying to get the next promotion, the next raise, etc. I'll be polite and say that I was rather inwardly focused on success. And I realized after an 18-year relationship was failing that the job that I had left to go to after retirement was not the wonderful panacea that I had expected it to be, that I was not a happy human being. And we started a weight loss program at work. And I participated just to show that I was supportive. And lo and behold, I started losing weight. And as I lost weight, I started feeling good about myself. And even after I did an assignment for the company out of America, I stayed with the program. And I not only changed what I ate, but I changed how I exercised. I walked everywhere. And I started coming up with ways to make it a game. Because diet is a four-letter word. It sounds like something that you don't want to do. And I knew that I had to change how I thought about my health. So essentially, I tried to come up with all the reasons why I didn't want to exercise. All the reasons why I couldn't eat broccoli because, maybe cream spinach tasted a whole lot better. Or whatever else I really wanted to eat. And I started figuring out I needed to put a plan together. So everything became about planning for my day and planning for fun, making everything that I did enjoyable. Otherwise, I knew I wasn't going to do it. So I basically put down all the reasons why I couldn't do something or didn't want to do something. For example, getting up and walking in the morning. Well, it's cold out. Buy a sweater. I can't hold my iPod and my house keys in my pockets. Fine. Buy a pair of pants with pockets in them. Okay? Well, then I wanted to carry a bottle of water. It didn't fit in the pockets. Fine, buy a backpack. And I felt childish after a while because it was like, these are not valid reasons why you can't exercise. I'd even, by the way, joined a gym, paid for 3 months in advance, and never showed up again. Now, to jump ahead a few months, I do go to that gym now, and I go 3 to 4 times a week. And it took a few weeks before the regulars teased me about, hadn't we seen you in here once before? Emphasis on the word once. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine, leave me alone. I'm still working out. But I would say that I overcame obstacles by not looking them as obstacles, but simply problems that needed to be addressed and coming up with ways to overcome them.
One word that you left out that I saw in you the minute that you walked in the door and walking down the hallway is that you're very competitive. And that counts.
Me?
That
Me?
matters so much when you have that inside of you and that is burning away at you. Have you always been a competitive person, or did this just come along with reaching your goals and your dreams of what you wanted Mary Ellen to be?
Well, since people will listen to this, I can't lie in case any of my friends listen to it. I have to admit that even back in college, I counted the points that I lost in a tennis match. Now, you basically win if you win 2 out of 3 sets. I didn't count sets. I didn't count games. I counted points. So, yes. But, it's funny because I learned that I could take that competitive nature and turn it inwardly and and became an enabler for success for me. I learned that trying to lose weight and trying to get healthier was really all a matter of personal integrity, making promises and keeping them not to anybody else, but to myself. So I used programs that I could find on my phone and on my computer that allowed me to track my food. So I knew that if I made an objective that I was going to eat 1,500 calories a day, that if I tracked them and I knew how many meals I was going to eat per day, I'd actually schedule them out ahead of time so that I knew what I was going to eat. So if at 2 o'clock in the afternoon I'd consumed all of my calories, I lost. Now, that was not a fun game, but I could plan better for the next day so that I would perform better. I also knew that if I was going to exercise, that I had to set goals for myself. Otherwise, it's too easy to say, oh, it's Tuesday, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then Wednesday you say, I'll just do it tomorrow. Well, I got to the point where if I didn't do it Tuesday and Wednesday and I did not honor those commitments to myself, I would then have to do them all on Thursday. And you only do that once or twice before when you can't get out of bed on Friday morning, but you've honored your commitments, you start adhering to the plan that you put in place. So, yes, I competed against myself, but I competed against what I wanted the future me to be, which was the person who adhered to what she planned for and didn't lie to herself, didn't say, I hope to wake up in a pair of size 12 pants tomorrow. I used to use that line at work all the time. I wore size 26 when I started. I was 311 pounds. I'm now sitting here wearing size 10 pants and a medium shirt, which is still mind-boggling to me.
And you're still pulling them up. We noticed you're still pulling them up.
Yeah, but to everybody who knows me, I'm not losing anymore. I'm now done, okay? However, I'm not done with my transformation. My transformation is still a work in progress. I like going to the gym now. I like seeing muscles on my body that I never knew existed. And after a while, this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but that you get better the more you practice. And wow, that sounds like competition of sports again. If you don't practice, you don't get any better. Well, if you start a diet on a Monday and you're off of it by Friday because, heck, it's the weekend, I can always start again Monday, you're not going to get any better. So to me, I now have different objectives going forward. I will continue to track my food. I showed you earlier that I actually, in my early days, tracked how many calories I had per meal, right down to the macronutrient so that I stayed healthy, okay? You don't have to get that anal retentive. That's just me, all right? But you have to make commitments like, are you going to walk today? How long are you going to walk? Did you? Post it someplace so that you know how you did, all right? Did you make your commitment? And if you didn't, be honest with yourself. None of us are perfect. What are you going to do differently the next time? Because I didn't follow this chart every day. Let's get real, okay? I did have days where I went over my caloric intake. I did have days where I didn't have the protein target that I allowed myself. I did have days where I didn't perform as well in fitness as I wanted to. I mean, one of my favorite stories is I hate to run. I detest running. Hate is not even strong enough. And I signed up for a 5K once. I brought my medal in here to prove that I actually finished it. Why? Because this is still a miracle to me that I even signed up. Never mind that I showed up, and never mind that I actually did the race. And in my head, I was going to run the whole 5K. Well, there's a little problem with that if you haven't been running, right? Nobody runs a 5K who's never run one before. I was an idiot. Well, I had deceived myself. Well, I had deceived myself for 58 years, which allowed me to get to the size that I was. And when I finished the 5K, I am proud to say now that I beat 3 people.
And that's all that matters. And you weren't last, Mary Ellen.
No, but they were all walking dogs.
You didn't have to tell us that part of it.
Well, no, actually, I think I do. I think that the people that are listening or watching this need to know that I went from being somebody who wanted to be first all the time to thinking this is one of the funniest stories that I can tell people about myself, that I don't have to be first, but I have to be willing to try new things that I didn't do before, because doing the same thing I had done before was not going to result in my changing, right? I know now that if I go to the gym, if I go pick up a 10-pound weight, I'm going to get yelled at by people in the gym, all right? They're going to tell me, girl, wait, and I'm going to say, I got it. I'll go back. Let me find the 35-pound dumbbell. I got it, all right? But you have to continue to push yourself to get better.
And it's so obvious that you like who you are today. So what we're going to do for our listeners and also our viewers out there is we're going to break it down a little bit when we come back in the next section and find out that there are different programs for different people, and there are different ways that people can get themselves started and motivated. And it's not about a diet. It has more to do with what's up here and what's in here. So, and that is your mind and your heart. So we're going to find out a little bit more from you, Mary Ellen, when we come back on the People Chronicles.